Well, it's not Thursday.
No.
No.
It's
And
a
we're not
Tuesday.
wearing our black shirts.
Yeah. But yeah.
So what the fuck are we doing?
We are doing a quick last minute
Okay.
short clip.
Well, what happened?
Okay.
So we were doing it was actually had the recipe for an awesome show today.
Yeah.
With the guys from Easy Pilot.
Yeah.
So you know the guys doing EASA exams, licensing in South Africa, those guys. And we just couldn't get it right. There was the Wi-Fi delays, all the usual stuff that you deal with, microphone issues. It's going to happen. We're going to get this done. But Ryan and I are here. So we thought, well, let's shoot out a quick little thing.
Yeah. You know, we got
whatever you want to call it.
We got our setup going. We are here, and you know, it's a bit like, well, I've taken the bike out the garage. You might as well take it for a quick ride.
Yeah. What was the analogy that you just used? Because they were keen for the show as well. I mean, there were 5 of us. We're all here, and the echoes. We just couldn't get it to actually graph. So
as I was saying to you, Paolo, it's like I'm not sure who's more bummed. I mean, them or us, because you know, we had the makings of a really, really good show. We could see that, you know, if it wasn't for the technical difficulties, we would have been able to have a fantastic chat this afternoon, which unfortunately it's one of those things, you know, it's the
those are just part and parcel with podcasting.
But we'll fix up the technicalities, we'll reschedule it, and at least now we've had a small introduction. I mean, I've never met Kevin, so I sort of met him there now, and the rest of the team, and we'll put together a really good piece when we do get this ironed out. I'm looking forward to it.
So we're doing a show. What are we going to talk about?
Well,
definitely not aviation.
Yeah, no, let's
you know the Brown Air Advisory thing?
Yes.
Okay, so the Brown Air Advisory is you know, it forms maybe 5 parts, 5 minutes of each sort of episode. And it's a little tech tip based on, you know, what we're learning along the way.
It's a very cool part of the show, though.
I like it.
Because more often than not, after you've sped out the advisory, I go home that night and try it. And, you know, you might have noticed
that you use a lot of them.
Yeah, like, is Para copying me? But I actually love the advisory that you give out, guys, because it's good stuff. It's well researched, and it really does work. So, I mean, I'm talking about Spark, for instance, Grammarly. Holy shit, I love Grammarly.
Yeah. Okay, but before you even go there, so, you know, on Modern Wisdom podcast, I'm a bit of a fan, Chris Williamson's podcast.
Absolutely.
And they do that Life Hacks episode with his mates.
Very cool.
So let's go backwards and forwards, yeah. we can if we mention it twice, we've mentioned it before, it doesn't matter. But BAPs, Brown Air Advisories, Brown Air Podcast Advisories, good ones currently that you're interested in. Maybe we can even talk about our setup here. Anything that adds a bit of value.
We can shoot advisories about anything. Okay. I could actually give you a pretty random advisory now.
Okay, well, you go.
So, seeing as I've had the opportunity to be a bit more of a house husband as of late, you know, madam's just had a baby, so naturally it goes out to that saying I have to do a bit more of the work around the house.
Yep.
Have you ever like roasted something in a pan and like burnt it like properly, like made a real cock up of a meal, and like now you're sitting trying to wash this pan, so mom doesn't figure out that you've like now probably burnt her what's supposed to be like a non-stick type thing. And now you've just gone and
let it soak for 3 days or something.
Well, you would think so.
Yeah.
sta-Soft. sta-Soft, hot water. Let it soak for 12 hours. Everything comes off there.
Are you serious?
I promise you.
That's quite legit.
It works like a charm. Now, I know this is an aviation podcast. And we're like a bunch of macho testosterone-fueled dudes. Yeah. And you
sta-Soft in the pan.
Yeah, for all those oaks that are in my position at the moment, if you'd never heard of that, try it.
Well, that's a good one.
It works.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it my turn then?
Hook it.
All right. Well, obviously, a lot of the time it takes a bit of a tech angle. It's a bit of an interest, so yeah, it goes down the tech way. But I'm trying to think of something maybe not so techie, but I can't. You've mentioned Grammarly. You mentioned Spark.
Sorry, man. It's all the good stuff.
No,
It comes.
it's a good stuff. One of the things that we have, the Zapier workflow thing is a big one for
Tell
me.
us a bit more about that.
All right, so
that's quite cool.
So Zapier is pretty cool. You can get a free account. You can actually check it out. But Zapier, what it does, Ryan, so it basically automates things that you do every day. And it does it really, really well. You can connect apps together. So a basic one is if I post something about the Brown Air podcast on our podcast page on Facebook, automatically it sends it to the LinkedIn Brown Air podcast page, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
because ultimately
it saves you a bit of time from having to make duplicated posts.
Well, it saves 30 seconds or whatever. It's kind of cool.
Time, bro.
But you can go deeper into it. You can do things like you can have a Google spreadsheet where you can either populate the Google spreadsheet and then it populates something else, or you can do it vice versa. So we've got a setup here where we need to collect information on the guys that are training. And we've got the Zapier set up that it actually populates this Google spreadsheet. Now, you would never ordinarily take the time to go and populate that spreadsheet.
Yeah, exactly.
But when it's automated, it's kind of cool. So Zapier is mine. Someone mentioned it's like coding for guys that can't code. Now, you and I can't code.
No.
So it's kind of cool. It kind of works.
Yeah. And coding is a fascinating thing because, I've looked at it a lot. It's one of those very deep interests of mine. And I would love to be able to learn how to do it properly. It just takes time.
Yeah, but I've got something that I want to say with that as well, though.
Yeah.
Sorry. Don't mean to interrupt your flow there, but coding is one of those things that's a little bit like being a pilot, I suppose. So don't you find you've been flying for a long time, you've built up a lot of experience, and it's given you a right now to talk about it on a podcast.
Yeah.
Coding's a bit like that, and you get these morons on Facebook that did a Python course during the lockdown, and now they're a coder.
Yeah, no,
you're not.
It's not.
You're not. So
it's kind of like, to put an analogy to it. It's like, are you going to go corporate? Are you going to go airline? Are you going to go contract or schedule? Because that's the difference between the languages. An airline pilot versus a contract pilot. There's different languages,
exactly,
in a sense of how you operate.
It doesn't mean
how
you
can
get
the job done.
Exactly.
Yeah. So no, very true, guys. It's one of those things. But yeah, it's quite cool because I think the tech world and IT and all that's opening itself to making it easier for guys like us who are interested in that kind of thing, but need the shortcuts and the easy routes.
Yeah. No, I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
Good podcast you've listened to lately.
I have to say, hands down, the most recent one would be, again, High Performance Podcast. Can't stay away from it. Damien and Jake, those guys put out an epic show every week. Absolute big fan. And the latest one with it's Chase and Status.
Yes.
Quite a good show because, I don't know, the reason that show resonated with me was because it reminds me of two other numpties that are out there trying similar things. So it's a worthwhile show to listen to.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would be my podcast advisory for the week.
My podcast advisory, or the one I've really enjoyed this past week, was Rogan and Brendan Shaw. Thick boy. Yeah. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was pretty.
And I kind of get a bit jealous with those because
I dig that vibe.
Yeah. There's a cool vibe in the show.
Yeah.
Nicotine gum, shrooms.
Yeah. It would be pretty cool to try a show where you get a bit goofed.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be mine.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I watch it as well. It's a great advisory, that. But
so what is the plan? Yeah. I say it's almost this show we're not live, obviously. We recording it. And there's an immediate what do you call it? There's a
coolness about it.
There's a coolness about it, but there's also there's a little bit less stress when it's not live like this.
Yeah,
This doesn't have to go anywhere,
no, it doesn't. We can shoot the breeze and we can talk as much cock as we want to.
which is pretty much what we're doing.
Yeah, it's what we're good at. And look, if we put it out there, we put it out. If we don't, we don't. It's neither here nor there. But I think it would be a disservice not to put this out as a show because, I mean, come on. We enjoy this. It's, I think it's maybe worthwhile. You know, what are we doing here? Cockpit banter, bro. We spoke about it. If you and I were flying in a CRJ right now, going from Joburg to Lubumbashi or wherever,
That's what we'd be doing.
We'd be sitting up there at 37,000 feet talking shit.
So what this is a bite-sized Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Shooting the Breeze podcast. Let's do a couple more advisories.
All right.
You mentioned one the other day. You asked about Readwise.
Yes, yeah. And in fact, well, that came from you a good couple of episodes back. Believe it or not, while we talking in the show, I actually do pay attention to what you say. But you mentioned Readwise, and I was actually busy with a bit of a project, and I thought, shit, I could use that app now where you're reading something, you want to highlight stuff, you want to take notes out of this book. It was an excellent book I was reading, by the way. Maybe put that in as advisory as well. But and yeah, I was trying to remember the name of the app that you had spoken about that does this. And yeah, eventually you said Readwise.
It works.
Yeah, it does. Not because I'm using at the moment Scribd.
Yeah. You got that from Leon, didn't you?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not totally sold on it. It's got its drawbacks. It's a bit like having a Netflix account. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's not great.
Yeah, you need it, but it's not.
Yeah, there's some good content. There's some good books. There's it's like a subscription service, and you can get access to a whole lot of good books. But the books that I really want are not available. That's why I say it's a bit like Netflix at the moment. If you've got an SA account, the movies you want to watch.
Do you still have an SA account on Netflix?
You're gonna laugh at me, bro, but I still haven't sorted out the VPN. I don't know why. I've just been busy with other stuff.
No,
like
you can't watch. You can't watch. The South African Netflix.
No, the South African Netflix account is shot.
No, that's shot.
But it doesn't really make a difference in my life because at home I have a choice of watching Peppa Pig, Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
That kind
Baby shark. Yeah.
There's really no biggie.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. No, fair enough. Every week when we do this advisory, I kind of think, well, I try to think, what is there something here that our audience could use? And a lot of the time, like take the Zapier thing. If you're not doing something where you need those automated tasks, it's kind of useless. But the Readwise one, everyone can use.
Readwise is great. Yeah.
They can.
Yeah. No, Readwise is, I mean, like you say, if you're one of those people that are reading a book and you want to highlight things and take out
if you're highlighting something, it means that it stood out and it was noteworthy at the time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this was mentioned, but what Readwise does, if you highlight stuff, it will send you a mail every single day about your highlighted, parts of the book, which is kind of cool. Then it makes it
it almost has the potential to get a bit like on your nerves at it because I did that out of one of the books I was reading.
Was it sending 4 emails a day?
Of the same stuff, and I was like, okay, man, Readwise, you need to calm down.
You need to read more books so you got more highlights.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
Another advisory I think is worthwhile mentioning, and seeing as you're talking about what would be something that our listeners might be interested in is, and I know you are whack on this, bro, is a proper task manager app. So have at it. I mean, you got to talk about this because
we both use different ones, eh?
Yeah, and it's
a task manager app is
the shit.
Is you can't do without it. You can't.
Yeah.
So basically, what it is, take a classic example of emails. So if you're working in an office, you get a whole whack of emails. I mean, even if you're flying, you get a whole whack of emails. You get an email from your, CFI. He wants this exam done, and you might not be able to get to that email there and then. So what you can do, just shift that link to that email through to a task manager.
Yeah.
So at least you know you don't have this like anxiety. There's nothing worse than going into your email inbox and having to find an email
Yeah.
that you thought it was sent, or maybe who sent it, and you start searching. Nothing more irritating. So task manager is key. I use OmniFocus. So OmniFocus 3 is out at the moment.
Mm.
And if you got a project that's on the go, you basically can put it down, you can write there, you can tag it, you can put who's involved in it, deadlines along the way, and add as much information into that project manager as you can. And then it basically can run your life. At the beginning of every day, it tells you, listen, you're getting close to the deadline on this project, you better do something about it. And yeah, it's an absolute no-brainer. I've been using it now for a good couple of years. I think I mentioned it on the show. Geez, it must have been 2 years ago. I think episode 20 something.
Yeah, it was ages ago. Look, OmniFocus, I think, is one of those. It's like the Bentley of task flow managers.
It
really is.
works.
I mean, there's a whole whack of them out there if you go and research. I mean, I've been trying Asana for the last couple of weeks,
Which is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it's very good. Probably a little bit cheaper in subscription. But yeah, to join that, there's Todoist, there's things, there's a whole whack of them. But I must say, I'm impressed with Asana because, like Asana rather, it does the same thing as OmniFocus, and it really does. Takes all those little projects that you're trying to get organized and just neatly packages them, and you can create your separate to-do lists inside of that. And let's face it, you don't have to be necessarily in business to want to do what it is. It's like it works for your personal life.
Everything
that you're doing. Just get your life organized.
Sorting out your driver's license. They're all projects. Think about it. I mean, it shouldn't be, but getting your driver's license or renewing your car license is a mission these days. So you get it in this thing. There's a deadline, tells you what you need to do, when you need to do. It takes anxiety away. 100%. Task manager. There's no question.
It's almost
you need it.
Tantamount to like. Have you ever had that feeling like you get home and your garage is in like an absolute mess? And I know for most oaks, like their garage is like their sanctuary.
It's their spot.
Yeah. So you get in, you like, there's that weekend where you just go in and you sort out your garage, you repack the boxes, you throw out the rubbish, and you get your space sorted out. It's a bit like doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
And you, once your life is organized and things are in a row, you literally have your ducks in a row. You feel better, and it just, man, time management is of the utmost importance. So that's why it works.
And it goes even further. Like for me, a Sunday is when I neaten that task manager app. So Sunday morning, I get everything into that task manager, get my email inbox down to 0. And then start running with the week from there. There's a good book coming out. It's not out yet, but Tiago Forte's Second Brain is coming out. So Second Brain is all about using a note-taking manager, which like Notion or Apple Notes or whatever. And that's your second brain. Get as much information in there as you can. And I'm really keen to read that book because it's a hell of an interesting side to it. But what's cool with Notion, Ryan, is that there's templates there for everything. So if you're writing a list, there's a template. If you project, there's a template, whatever. There's wonderful templates there, very, very useful. And I use that a lot, and that would definitely be right up there at the moment in terms of my recommendations.
I tell you what, you and I could probably go on and on and on for hours about the apps and advisories, because just in recent weeks as well, what we're talking about, Joe, is getting yourself organized. And like Val and I, we're in a situation now where she's not really mobile. She can't drive or go anywhere. And that typical shopping list type thing where you used to write a shopping list on the fridge and leave it, and then you get to shop, you're like, oh shit, I left the list at home. No, I don't know what to get. So there's an app as well. It's called Groceries for Me or something. So she can put on the on this app, listen, go and get nappies, milk, bread, whatever, all this kind of stuff. It comes straight to my phone. If I go to the shops, I know exactly I don't even have to phone in and say, listen, what do we need? You just go.
It's all there.
Once you walk into shops, you scroll it off, and you get home and you've got everything that she needed. So you can't fuck that up.
That's quite legit.
And it's things like that are just making life like
I'm all about
1,000%
if you
easier,
if you can save 1% on making your life easier, like just that, it's like almost like a victory.
You got to do
So
it.
you have to actually
Yeah.
live the day. How can I make this slightly better? Even if it's not a lot, then you just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the space we've been in for the last couple of weeks, and I must say it's I'm digging it. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it's quite cool, man.
Good. What else? Let's leave the tech side.
So aviation.
Yeah, I just had to mention that I had to now renew my subscription to Log 10 Pro for I don't know how many thousands are. You know why I had to renew it? Because I need a summary.
Why do you need a summary?
2,000 Rand summary.
Like what for?
But it's such a mission. Everything is in there. You know,
Yeah, look,
what are you going to do?
Bro, after having done enough summaries in my life and after having cocking enough of them up, maybe 2,000 Rand is not such a lot of money to get that summary done.
It's a lot of money for a bloody summary. Yeah. Particularly for two oaks that aren't flying.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
But when you are actively flying, listen, Log 10 Pro is your.
It's a saving grace. Does work.
Hey?
Yeah,
100%.
But there are one or two cool options coming out for logbooks. Maybe in the coming weeks we'll chat about it.
Yeah.
One of our big supporters, sponsors even the Flying Socks.
Yeah.
You want an advisory for good socks, and I'm not even talking about, even if these weren't aviation themed socks, I would still buy them.
Oh, yeah.
They're the most comfortable, best, thin but strong socks. So that's definitely an advisory on my side.
I have to agree totally. I actually love them. The quality is just ridiculous, and I don't know. There's a bit of a pride about putting on aviation themed socks, even if like I'm not wearing them for work or whatever. I just like I dig it. Like check my pilot socks.
But my 3 left and 3 right socks are they're my favorite. I'm wearing them right now actually.
What have I got? I've got the Tetris socks on today.
Okay, I had Tetris yesterday.
Listen, while we're on the subject, you just bought a really cool pair of shoes.
I did.
I must say, a little bit of jealous.
The best shoes I've ever bought. The standard Veldskoen off Takealot. They're $1,000. They're without doubt. I got the blue soled ones. Without doubt, the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn in my life. They are so awesome. $1,000, and you know they are exporting so many of these overseas. I mean, they're wearing them overseas. Italy, people are wearing Veldskoen.
Yeah,
they're legit. I even bought the black ones now for work.
Yeah,
because I promise you, the best South African flag on the back.
I must say they look pretty cool.
If you're wearing the flying socks, Veldskoens, and the flying eyes, you don't get more proudly South African and Brown Air networked than that.
Totally, bro. I mean, how apt is that?
Yeah, exactly.
They're very cool. Yeah, no, look, I mean, it's one way to.
I love them.
No,
I love those socks. I mean, sorry, the Veldskoen shoes and the socks.
Yeah.
But it's a good buy.
It's very cool.
I want to get the red. I think they call them the pinotage ones. That got a red, and then I want the orange. But I wanted the orange soles because of Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
But the orange soled Veldskoen looks a little bit old South Africa, if you ask me. It looks a bit.
It's a bit.
You might get beaten up there if you go into the wrong side of town. So I got the blue soled ones, which looks a bit Western Province.
No, look, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you could always defend yourself if you bought the red ones. It's all for Ferrari. I mean, talking of Formula One,
fuck Ferrari.
Listen, I was watching the debut race in Miami on Sunday night. Unfortunately for us in South Africa, it's quite late.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I couldn't make the whole race. I'll be honest.
Come on, Max.
I watched lap 14. I saw Verstappen take over Leclerc, and I was like, okay, that's my cue to go to sleep.
Yeah. But he almost came back at the end.
Yeah, I missed the race.
Well, that's another advisory.
Yeah.
Watch Formula One. Formula One is the best motor. For a long time, MotoGP, there was no question that it was better racing than Formula One.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing. The 7 years or whenever it was that Hamilton just dominates. It was. It wasn't the best for Formula One. The Mercedes was just dominant. The vibe around Formula One wasn't there. It's a total different ball game at the moment. If you're not into motor racing, now's the time to get into it. Formula One is legit at the moment.
Well, that's it. I mean, and now that the sort of mold has been broken, and it's like every race it's anybody's game. You know, whoever's doing the least amount of bouncing on the track, stands a chance at winning. And
the porpoising. So you're a Ferrari fan.
I have to admit, all the way. If Ferrari, they might jam.
I'm not a Ferrari fan. I mean, I like Leclerc.
The same way I'm not Verstappen.
Yeah, I like Leclerc, and how I got. Why I started liking Verstappen was I identified that he was the only guy that was going to beat Hamilton. Because I just didn't want to see Hamilton win another bloody season. But yeah, Formula One at the moment is really good. Look, there was a few cringe-worthy moments in that Miami. You see, they were in the Pirelli American football helmets on that Harley's taking them to the podium, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, look at that. Look, just the Americans to go all out. It was their first race in Miami, so it was very cool. But
of the American Grand Prix, the Austin one for me is on the bucket list. That one is.
I would go there in a heartbeat. And listen, Austin there's something happening in Austin because, particularly for you and I, there's a lot of attractions going on in Austin. I mean.
It's Podcast Central, that place.
There's Podcast Central. They've got the Grand Prix there.
Yeah.
I would give my left nut to go to the Gas Monkey Garage and buy a T-shirt from...
Are they there in Austin as well?
Austin, Texas,
really?
bro. That's where it's happening.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, old Richard Rawlings, go get you some of that.
Yeah.
I know it's Zeph and it's but
is he still doing that?
I think the show has taken a different angle, but yeah, he's still in business. On my bucket list.
Yeah. So the advisory is go to Austin. Yeah.
In a nutshell.
MotoGP, you're not a huge fan.
No, look, I got a little bit lost out of MotoGP. You know me because I'm a Harley fan, fast bikes. But I have been paying a bit of attention to what's going on.
Yeah. But I must say, as we said, Formula One is definitely from a racing spectacles taking that over.
Yeah.
Movies. What movie series?
It actually was a very good movie I watched just the other day.
How's that video that's doing the rounds today? the sling,
the Top Gun sling.
Top Gun sling video is brilliant.
It's so well done.
Yeah,
I love the way the Oaks are taking the Mickey out of Top Gun.
No, but I think it's so well done. Excellent advertising.
No, it's brilliant. It's very well done, and I mean, no doubt, I saw Alex McPhail. He was all over that because he's flying a sling.
Yeah,
it was right up his alley.
Yeah. No, but it looks really cool. So well done to those guys. And there was a few thousand views by the time I saw it this morning already. So
it actually is a very good movie on Netflix. This is a bit left of center. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it's on Netflix at the moment. It's all about the old South African apartheid era and these oaks. It's called The Silverton Siege.
Oh yeah.
And it's about in the old days where...
It's not on my American Netflix, that one.
It's on my South African Netflix. But the reason I'm talking about it is not to get political. It's like I was watching this movie, and it was obviously filmed pretty recently.
Yeah.
And it's like old school South Africa, 1980s, filmed in Pretoria. But you must see how immaculate they make Pretoria look.
Oh, really?
And I've driven through the CBD
It's
recently.
not like
It doesn't look like that. So it was just quite impressive to see an old South African movie put together. It was very cool. You got to watch it on your South African VPN.
Good one for me the other day. I finished watching Ozark.
Oh yeah,
it's legit Ozark.
If
you haven't, it's excellent. Ozark is really good.
I'll make a point of checking that out.
And my missus says that Jason Bateman reminds her a bit of me because he's a bit chill. You must watch it. It's bloody good.
A bit chill.
Yeah, it's bloody good.
You haven't seen Brian at work.
Yeah. Another one, we were actually talking about this earlier. but it's definitely an advisory. I heard this. It was on a Lex Friedman podcast with Grimes, musician, and she said listening to new music is an important thing. So, on Spotify, I think like 85% of the music that gets listened to is classic rock.
Oh, it's probably
I mean it's your go-to
that's
thing.
my jam.
That's I mean, get you in front of the computer there on a Friday night with a bottle of whiskey and some AC/DC, and it's game over
any day of the week.
But that's not just for you and me. That seems that it's for everyone. But listening to new tunes, there's a bit of evidence to show that it might improve the neural pathways that get developed inside your brain, because you listen to a band you like, and that's what you listen to for the rest of your life. And being able to listen to new music, and originally or initially you don't like it, but then you have to force yourself, but why do other people like this? And it actually it could be good for mental health.
Why is that important?
So you see how we're developing on the show, though. It's not now we're actually going into mental health here.
Yeah, look, well, I mean, let's be cautionary. Our mental health advice is probably about as good as our financial advice.
It can't be worse than our financial advice.
No, nothing could be. But I totally can resonate to that, because music is one of those things that it'll always take you to. Like,
it takes you somewhere.
Like for me, classic rock puts me behind my Harley bars on the highway, and I'm blasting down the highway doing 140, but I'm living the dream.
Yeah,
and that kind of shit.
I know for me,
it's flying or something like that. That's cool.
If I watch those YouTube videos, like the classic one, AC/DC, which is the main one.
Does that take you back to Margate 2014?
No, even though I wasn't there, it takes me into the crowd. I kind of always feel like I'm in there.
Yeah, no, it's heavy. So it's quite a true statement. I mean, you need to
try new things.
And that's essentially what they're saying. I get it. I mean, Chase and Status, I only actually started listening to them after I listened to these oaks talking on high performance. And I thought, shit, what is their music all about? And I was like, okay, cool. I can listen to this. It's different, but it's something you can get used to. So 100%, bro.
So I even started listening to the Wu-Tang Clan. That's where I am at the moment.
Yeah.
I started Mrs. and I started gym today. Second day back. So that's why I'm sitting with such a straight back, because my back is broken.
Wu-Tang fits in there with Cypress Hill as far as gym jeans.
Yeah. But I thought that was a bit of good advice.
Absolutely.
We're going to keep coming with the advice. I mean, I think it's an important part of the show, and it's if people comment on it along the way, it gets thrown in your face sometimes. Like we did mention, I mentioned to someone, this was Ryan, we're going back now maybe 2 years. Remember Woven?
Yeah, Woven.
Yeah. So what? So
but they got bought out.
Yeah, I recommended Woven.
That's right.
And then like 3 weeks later, they got bought out. So this one listener in Hong Kong messaged me to say, "But I bought this thing based on your recommendation, and now they don't even exist anymore." So you got to be careful.
You have to.
Yeah. Take anything with a serious pinch of salt and pepper with what Ryan and Brian have to say, because it's not always. No, look, it's what we think is right, but
look, it's what we've tried and what we've played with, and it seems to be working. And look, Woven getting sold and cancelled, that's kind of like beyond your control. I mean,
but still,
playing with these apps and using them and putting them to practice and finding out what actually works is the cool part. And
so we part of the generation that needs to actually work with the thing and play with it, make a mistake, correct it, improve on it the next time.
I got a question. You talk about generations. we were sort of having this conversation a little bit earlier in the office today, but what generation are we? Are we like Generation X, or are we like the baby boomers?
No, we're later than that.
I can't figure that.
I must check.
Out.
We'll check. We'll answer that question on Friday.
We have
Thursday.
to, because I don't know where we fit in, because I'd like to think we're part of the generation that's
Well, did you listen to that episode with? You didn't listen to the Grimes Lex Friedman
not
episode.
yet.
So they talk about the techno, so people that are into tech. So it's actually it's a whole new species.
Yeah.
So the people that are growing up with technology as part, I forget what it's called, but go listen because that's exactly what they're talking
I'll
about.
check it out
Whole
because
new generation.
that's fascinating because we're seeing that more and more. I mean, you and I, in particular, we're trying to push this techno route,
and not even from the point of view to be cool about it, from the point of view where we aren't flying. We're in a sort of more of a business space, and if you're not good with that stuff, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah.
So we playing catch up in that regard.
Absolutely.
But it'll carry on. This has been cool.
This has been a Joel.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. When?
Thursday.
Try and do it once a month. But so today's episode sponsored by Ryan and Brian.
100%. The two of us having a Joel and
join us on Thursday. 5 o'clock, load shedding permitting, live.
We'll be
LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah.
Join us.
This is our bonus on the fly episode. I think we had a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was kind of cool.
I'll do this again.
If it's over 35 minutes, it's legit.
Yeah. It makes it a podcast.
It's a podcast.
Thanks for listening, guys. Take care.
Next week.
Cheers.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.